We know there's a mitzvah of remembering Yetzias Mitzrayim, Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim. We do that every day, every single day. When you say Shema, you fulfill the mitzvah of remembering that we left Mitzrayim. So we do that every day, in the morning and at night. So then it comes to Seder night, and what are we doing? Just that more? No, it's called Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim. What's the difference between Zechiras Yetzias Mitzrayim, which we do every day, and Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim?
One's like sharing over and one's just mentioning.
But give me a definition. What does it mean to share over and mentioning?
One's teaching, one's giving the story.
Okay, one's speaking to other people. Excellent. We got it to Levincha means, like the book that we use on Seder night is called a Haggadah. Haggadah is from the pasuk that says V'higadeta Levincha b'yom u'lemor. You got to tell it over to other people, not just to yourself. So every day, every night, we say to ourselves that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, and on Seder night we are we're telling others. Yeah, Shine. What other?
Another one is Sipur is, I was just saying how the Exodus part put the whole process before and all that stuff.
Okay, so like Rabbi was talking about Maschel Begnus V'Sayim B'Shach. We go back to the beginning of the story.
Yeah, and when we're talking about, when we say we're remembering Yetzias Mitzrayim, we're only talking about how Hashem took us out, not the whole.
Right. Okay, so the Zechira is just remembering that Hashem took us out, and Sipur is the whole story. Yeah. Yes.
What we say in Shema is remembering, and what we're reenacting, in a sense, the Pesach.
Okay, that's phenomenal. Excellent. Correct. So that leads us into the four cups. The Rambam says, there are a few others, there's questions and answers, but here's what? And the reasons behind it and halachos. Okay, so excellent. That you should just be aware of that. It's excellent Dvar Torah material at your Seder to talk about the difference between Sipur and Zechira, especially like kind of towards the beginning, right? To get everyone, pumped up in the right frame of mind about what we're doing on this night. Now the Rambam writes, the Mishnah writes in Maseches Pesachim, B'chol dor v'dor chayav adam. In every generation, a person has to. Liros is atzmo kilu yatzim Mitzrayim. He has to see himself as if he left Mitzrayim. That's what the Mishnah says. Because it says he took us out. He didn't take our forefathers out. He took us. So in every generation, you have to see yourself. Part of the great avoda, in addition to what Rabbi Green said, part of the great avoda of Seder night is that I should be seeing myself as if I am leaving Mitzrayim. Whatever that means, on whatever level, wherever you are, and it could mean different things for different people in different times, different years, different places. I am seeing myself as leaving Mitzrayim because that's what we believe. That's what we know. That Jewish holidays from the Torah are not remembrances. They're reliving that. We're just walking through the same period of time. On Shavuos, we don't remember the receiving of the Torah. We receive the Torah. Right? On Sukkot, we don't remember that we sat in Sukkos in the Midbar. We sit in the Sukkah. So we don't remember that we left Mitzrayim. We leave Mitzrayim. So b'chol dor v'dor chayav adam liros esas, you have to see yourself. The Rambam famously has a little bit of a change in the girsa. It doesn't say liros es atzmo, which means to see yourself, but laharos es atzmo, which means to show, to demonstrate, to show others. Laharos es atzmo kilu yatzim Mitzrayim. So it's not only enough to think into myself, I'm remembering that I left Mitzrayim. Oh, there's a camel. Oh, there's a... Yeah, but laharos is also to show that I'm leaving Mitzrayim. To show. How do I show it? So the Rambam says, therefore, on this night, we drink 4 cups of wine, and we eat and drink while reclining, while doing Heseba, to show. Now, in many Sephardic communities, they even they put on plays. Maybe even non-Sephardic communities, they put on plays. Anybody ever seen like a little play at the Seder where it's like somebody knocks on the door, has a sack over his shoulder, and some Sephardim hit each other with scallions? No?
Yeah,
okay, you ever seen it or heard about it?
I opened the door and saw it.
Great. Children just hit each other without the scallions. But that was a joke. The point is that the more you can do to demonstrate, again, it's not the halacha, it's not like you must put on a Pesach play, but whatever you can do to show, because ultimately, Kadesh Baruch Hu knows what really connects to our neshama. He knows that matzah and maror and karpas and the 4 cups, that really does it. It's done it for Jews for centuries without us having to put on huge plays. But the more that a person can demonstrate, have 10 plate kits and throw lice across the table and put, locusts and soup, whatever it is, whatever you can do to demonstrate is is a tremendous thing. But I just want to point out that the Rambam categorizes drinking 4 cups of wine as this part of the mitzvah. That behold, over there in every generation you have to show as if I demonstrate that I'm leaving Mitzrayim. Therefore, drinking the 4 cups of wine at the Seder is a demonstration of the fact that I am royalty, and I am royal, and I'm enjoying, and I'm celebrating, and I'm toasting the fact that we left Mitzrayim, and I'm living it. So that's the 4 cups of wine. See, this is important because why do we have 4 cups? The 4 expressions of Gula. Arba Lashon Shel Gula, which are Botzeisi, Yitzalti, Begalti, Velakachti. Yeah, that Hashem says in 4 different ways that I took you out of Votzeisi, I took you out of Mitzrayim. Votzeisi, v'yitzalti, and I saved you from them. V'ga'alti, and I redeemed you. V'lakachti, and I took you to be my people. So that's nice. So Hashem says it in 4 different ways. So that because of that, we have 4 cups of wine. This is what it says in the Medrash, quoted by Rashi in the 10th parak of Masechus Pesachim. So because there are 4 Lashon Shel Gula, so we have 4 cups of wine. So what does one thing have to do with the other? So there are 4 Lashonos of Gula, so we have 4 cups of wine. And why 4 cups of wine? Let's have 4 matzos, 4 potatoes, 4 steaks, 4
soups.
4 soups. Yeah? So why 4 cups of wine? So one idea is that the 4 cup, that wine, and of course you could be yotze with grape juice, but much better to do it with wine, because wine is alcoholic. And wine has alcohol in it, and when you drink, it has an effect on your brain. I don't know if any of you have ever had alcohol before, or it's ever had an effect on your brain, but it does. It affects you. So the point is that the Arba Lashon Shel Gula, Hashem didn't just take us out right away, and we just went straight from Mitzrayim, and then we teleported to Eretz Yisrael. No, it happened in stages. First, there was the stopping of the servitude in Mitzrayim, and then there was gradual stages. Votzeisi, and then v'yitzalti, then I saved you from the Mitzrayim, and then I punished them, and I took you to be my people. There are 4 stages. So it's to celebrate the fact that Hashem took us out in stages to show how great it is. That one aspect is we stopped being slaves, and the other one is that He punished the Mitzrayim, and the other one is that He took us to be His people, and all of that. So by drinking wine, we're showing, we also develop in stages. And it's certainly according to what we said in the Rambam, we develop in stages because we are going through a process of becoming free, and we're different people because we left Mitzrayim. So when you drink wine, and it has a little bit of effect, so now it's very, very important to get good wine for the Seder. Not very heavy, thick, a lot of alcohol wine, because that's not good, because then it's going to be Purim. You're going to end up dancing on the table and stepping in the maror. It won't be good. So be smart, and ahead of time, try choosing a bottle of wine that has low alcohol in it, and also drink together with it. Drink water, so you don't get all woozy at the Seder. That's not the point. It should have a little bit of an effect on the brain, but not a lot. Okay. So I know this from past experiences with yeshiva guys who came over for the Seder. And they're like, don't worry, Rabbi, we can take it. We don't need any of that girly Moscato stuff. We can handle the big stuff. And then by the end of the Seder, they're like half gonzo or dancing on the couch. Yes?
Can you have grape juice and just put it in a little bit of wine to be yotze?
If you want to do that, if it just has a little bit of an alcoholic, twist to it, you can that's like then that's good.
Do you do grape juice and vodka?
No, not vodka. It has to be wine. Or great products.
It has to taste like alcohol a little bit?
It should. Again, if a person can't take it, whatever wants to drink grape juice, you are yotze. But everyone says it's much better if you have alcohol. But not too much alcohol. A little alcohol. Yes?
Can you repeat the 4 stages?
V'hotzeisi, Hashem took us out from Mitzrayim. V'hitzalti, He saved us from them. V'ga'alti, He redeemed us. And v'lakachti, and He took us to be His people. Okay, and that corresponds to 4 stages of our servitude in Mitzrayim. That it didn't all happen like once. That we went from being slaves one day to going free the next day. It happened in stages. First they stopped enslaving us, and then Paro said that we could go free, and then Hashem took us out, and they all drowned in Yam Suf. He saved us from them, And then he took us to be his people at Har Sinai. So it goes in stages. So too, the 4 cups, each one has a different effect on the mind. Yeah.
Isn't like this very like small amount that you actually have to drink? Like it's only like 3 ounces.
Excellent question. Good. So you have to drink. The rabbis were misakin. They enacted 4 cups. How much is a cup? A cup has to contain at least a revi'is. A revi'is is a quarter of a log, and that's a little bit of a machlokes. If you're in milliliters, it's a machlokes between Rabbi Chaim Nan, Rabbi Chaz, and Aish. Whether or not that's 86 milliliters. 86 is the gematria kos. Kaf vav samach is 86. Whoa. That's mind-blowing, Rabbi. And then there's more machmir shir, which is 157 milliliters. Ramoshe Feinstein says 3.3 ounces is good enough for is a revi'is. So wherever you are, however you can look this all up, and you can ideally a person should try to drink the whole cup. So if you just get the right size, right? So if you get the right size cup, it's just a revi'is and not a humongous cup. Don't drink from a flower vase. If you have a cup that's a normal size cup, you can drink the whole cup, which is drinking 4 kosos, and you didn't have to drink too much. And that's but b'diavad you should drink rove of the kos, the majority of the kos. Yes, John.
Does it have all the halachas of the kos like the kiddush?
It has all the kos. Yes, it should be washed. It should be cleaned. And that's why you have to be careful. If you have wine left over that you drank from it, that makes it pagum. So then you have to fill it up again. If they're left over, it's better to empty it out and to wash it again, clean it off, start again, etc. Okay, so that's a little bit of the understanding. 4 cups of wine. Remember, again, the Rambam says, b'chol dor v'dor, we have to not only see ourselves as if we left Mitzrayim, and to show it. One of the ways that we show it, besides for reclining, is by drinking 4 cups of wine. So the 4 cups of wine are an expression of our freedom on Seder night. You should do it, enjoy it, get a good bottle of wine, not too much alcohol, something nice, something enjoyable, and it's dafka wine. It's not the 4 steaks and the 4 matzos. It's the 4 cups of wine because it has an effect on our brain, has an effect on our mind, and that is what Geula does to us. It changes us. We become different people. As Rabbi Green was talking about, you have to become a different person. Hashem is giving you an opportunity to come out of Mitzrayim. Like, no, thank you. I just want to stay my old self, please. Thank you. No, it's an opportunity that everyone can break through shackles on Seder night. So now, Rabbi Keller is here waiting to pick up, so we have to get up to the part of the Seder that Rabbi Keller is going to be talking about. So we have the first cup of wine is the cup of Kiddush. So Kiddush has to be done after Tzeis HaKochavim, about 20 minutes after the sundown. I'm sure most of you will. You can't make early Pesach, even though it's nice to start the Seder. You don't want the kids to fall asleep, the kids being like me. But you can't start the Seder early. You can't make it early Pesach because you have to have all of the mitzvahs at night. At night. It's one of the only holiday of the year where all of the mitzvahs take place at night. Usually, like shofar is in the day, lulav is in the day. But on Seder night, everything's at night. It's balayla. So you have to wait till nightfall, and then you start the Seder, and the first cup of wine is Kiddush. And in some families, just the Baal HaSeder says the Kiddush, and everyone joins along, and sometimes they fight about it, and whatever, every family and their great exalted minhagim. But the point is that when you pay attention to the words of Kiddush, like you say Kiddush all the time, but on Seder night, like all of a sudden, like you just realize these words mean so much more. Asher Bachar Banu, he chose us from all the nations. And Zecher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim, he took us out of Mitzrayim. So it's not just a regular Kiddush. It's the Kiddush of Seder night. It's the Kiddush that sets the tone for all the Kiddushes for the whole year. Because all the Kiddushes for the whole year are to remember that Hashem created the world and He runs the world. Zecher L'Maaseh Bereishis, that God created the world. And then He took us out of Mitzrayim and then He runs the world like Rabbi Green spoke about. And on Seder night we can just be mechazik, just pay attention to every word of Kiddush and you'll see that is tremendous. And we also make a shehechianu. Yes?
Are you able to read that in English?
Okay, so that I'll leave over to the rabbis who are speaking about the Haggadah. Kiddush, you can say in any language that you understand. I mean, it's better to say it in the Lashon HaKodesh, right? The Haggadah itself, the story, might have to do with, based on understanding. So it's probably better. So we'll let you can ask the Maggid rabbis about that. Yeah.
Wait, why are all mitzvot done at night on Pesach?
Oh, okay. That's a great Dvar Torah that you can give at the Seder. So please research that topic. Okay. Why? No, I'm serious. It's great. Like I'm just here to toy with your mind and to tell you that, like, wow, isn't that interesting? You're like, yeah, that's interesting. What's the answer? I'm like, no, you figure that out. Okay, good. So we have, so Kiddush is the first cup, and when you drink it and all the other ones, you recline. Okay, don't. Would you like to recline? No, I decline. No, recline. Don't decline. Recline, as whatever it says. You have to lean to your left so that you don't kill yourself, and try to do it comfortably. Is somebody else speaking about Haseba? But in general, Rabbi Kelly, is somebody speaking about Haseba? So I'll just take the opportunity to talk a little bit about Haseba. Haseba doesn't mean leaning back. It means reclining. This is how you recline. If you have an armchair, so then you lean on the arms of the chair. If you don't, so you take your chair a little bit, have a nice pillow. You don't have to make a whole scene out of it, but this is how you do it. You just sit up like that.
Oh yeah.
Haseba in 3 easy steps.
Rather than the chair is like over your head.
Rolf, I think you're setting the tip. Oh,
What?
Setting the tip over
Chair over your head.
It's,
So you should make the TikTok.
I know what he means.
Three easy steps.
Speaking of chair.
okay. That was also my. Okay, in any event. Okay, so anyway.
Whatever your chair's like this, like level here.
So get a different chair, before. Again, Rabbi will say this and so many other things, and I'm sorry, I know I'm way over time. This and so many other things. Advanced planning can help you so much. Scout it out ahead of time. Where am I going to be having the Seder? What are the chairs going to look like? Where's my pillow going to be? Okay, if you plan these things ahead of time, you can also react to them and change them in due time. And you don't have to get to the Seder and all of a sudden realize, oh, I'm really uncomfortable, or I'm sitting next to, plan ahead of time. And if you make it important, it's going to be important. Okay, so that's Kiddush, and that's the first cup of wine. And then we have Urchatz. Urchatz means you wash your hands. Why are you washing your hands? Because we're about to do karpas. What's karpas? Rabbi Kaller will explain. But karpas is dipping a vegetable in salt water, and you have to, in the times when we ate truma and we had tuma and tara, so you had to wash your hands before you had anything dipped in liquid for various technical reasons which we can't go into right now, but you would wash your hands. Nowadays, we don't have tuma and tahara, so most people do not wash netilas yadayim before eating pickles out of a jar, but technically you would have to, okay? That before you have something which is dipped in a liquid, you would have to wash your hands. Nowadays, most people don't do it, albeit some people still do, believe it or not. That they still wash their hands before they have, if you have an apple and you wash the apple and it's wet, so really you should wash until Sinai before having that wet apple. So if we don't do it all year, so what are we doing it on Seder night for? So the Nitziv, the great Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin, the Rosh Hashiva of Alashon says, because there's so many aspects of Seder night that are Zecher LaMikdash, remembering the Beis HaMikdash. So it's a throwback. It's a throwback to the times of the Beis HaMikdash. And on Seder night, that's also one of the themes, is to try to remember, we had a Beis HaMikdash, we had a Korban Pesach. So some of the things that we do as a Zecher, like we have a shank, we put a zroa and a beis on the Seder plate. That's a remembrance to the Korban Pesach and the Korban Chagiga. We eat the Korech, the Hillel sandwich. That's Zecher LaMikdash Kehillel. Some people have eggs at their Seder to remember, like Rabbi Green spoke about, that the night of Tisha B'Av and the night of Pesach are the same night. It's like we're in a little bit of mourning over the fact that we don't have a Beis HaMikdash. So this idea of remembering the Beis HaMikdash runs through many parts of the Seder night, and one of them is Urchatz. That when you wash your hands, you're like, so again, in some families only the Baal Habayis washes his hands. In other families, everybody washes their hands for Urchatz. But whatever it is, the reason why we're doing it is because of Tumah V'Tara. Hey, we don't have Tumah V'Tara nowadays. We had it when we had a Beis HaMikdash. That's right. And on Seder night, you have to remember, look how much we're missing because we don't have a Beis HaMikdash.